think I can do this.
Jacob, that F sharp on the top, how's that sounding?
Slightly sharp. Where are we going? Oh, this way. Oh no, shall we go? This way.
You should do some whistle tone runs at the end. Take it.
Here we come.
Yeah.
Here we Play it, boy! That was better, eh? Play it, boy!
It's crazy to hear it come to life in this way. It's just insane. It was in my head, you know. No, it's not in my head anymore. Oh, didn't see you there. Hello and welcome. It's so good to see you guys. I'm here in London in my room, holding my tenor guitar. Happy Halloween. It's a slightly early Happy Halloween. I grew this in my own garden. Very lovely. So it's great to welcome you here again. This is an exceptionally exciting day for me because we are in the world of Jesse today. Jesse pronounced Jesse. And I'd like to tell you all about this crazy adventure. This year has been a bonkers year for me. But I'm going to explain the entire thing, the entire conglomerate, the whole shape of the thing. So yeah, essentially, Jesse is the culmination of a year of my life. And on January 1st, I woke up and I began this crazy adventure, but I've been planning it for about 2 years. What it is it's not one album and it's not two albums. Neither is it three, in fact, albums. It's four, but really it's one album, but it's 4 records. And so each record has a completely different world, has a completely different flavour. And the way that the thing is set up is that it's a story that takes you through this entire year's worth of crazy experiences and crazy musics and different worlds and different genres. The first volume is orchestral. It's huge, it's broad, it's massive, it's outdoors, it's spring, it's dawn, everything is beginning, everything is waking up, it's very exciting. The second is the afternoon when things close in, and it's like the springtime, and it's very gentle, it's very soft, it's quite folky, and funky and fingerpicky and various other things. The third is when things get very real indeed, because that's when the electronics come in. So the third is this kind of crazy electronics thing. The fourth is a sort of culmination of all these different forces. And the most exciting thing about this is that dotted throughout these volumes is a sort of star-studded cast of my personal heroes. And when I was planning this whole thing on planes, sort of in the middle of the night, thinking, how can I get the music that's in my head out into the world? I began to put different songs together of artists that I love, and I then realised, well, why don't I just sort of go and ask the artists to join me, and so that's what I did, and so it's been thrilling how I guess how many people have agreed to this ridiculous project, and I've been legging it all over the world, chasing them around with a sort of portable version of this room, which was built for me by Mr. Ben Bloomberg, who's a very good friend of mine. And so yeah, it's taken me everywhere from Morocco to Japan to the States and New York and Nashville and LA and all sorts of things, and I've just chased these people down and I've got them, and I've put them in my little box, and it's been really exciting to, I guess, plot this route through all these different worlds. So I'm not going to tell you much more about this because I think it's better if you just hear for yourself. If you've been paying attention, you will have visited jacobcollier.com, which is my personal website. And on there you can sort of preview different snippets of these worlds, and I'm going to be changing those sounds over the next few months. I'm going to be adding in new ones as they appear. I'm going to be removing other ones as they expire, and that's going to be sort of a live place to be musically, because you're going to be able to drink in all of these different worlds for yourself, which is great news, really great. But I feel like I've been waiting my whole life to make this music. It's the kind of music that started when I was 1 day old and isn't yet finished. I'm still creating this entire album. So you may be wondering when these albums are going to come out. Well, I can tell you right now, live from London, that there's a sort of there's a timeline that you should know about. The first single of all of these different albums, which is I think the most epic song on all 4 albums thus far, which is called "With the Love in My Heart." It's a song which I composed, and it's coming out on Friday. And so Friday is the first single. And it's exceptionally exciting. It's going to come out at midnight on Friday, wherever you are. It's going to come out at midnight, and you can tune in and check it out then. I guess over the course of that November, there'll be 2 other songs from Volume 1, which will be dropped at various times, and then the first volume will drop at the beginning of December. That is going to be a thrill, a real thrill. The Volumes 2, 3, and 4 will then be scattered throughout next year, but next year there are so many other adventures to tell you about that I don't think you're going to be too worried about waiting. And I think it's important that you can drink in each one on its own and sort of understand the feelings that I've hidden in. I've hidden lots of feelings in this stuff. Every kind of sleepless night, every good night's sleep, and plenty of joy and plenty of sorrow and plenty of knackeredness and plenty of sort of hunger and quenching of thirst, all sorts of things. It's such a vivid flavoured thing, and I haven't really hidden much, so it's cool to have that on display, and it'll be unleashing over the course of the next few months. Anyway, kind of exciting announcement number 2 is that I'm going on tour, back on tour. This year I haven't done too much touring because I've been making 4 albums, so there've been other things on my mind. But I'm going back on tour next year, and it's very exciting because in said tour will be plenty of the one-man show skullduggery capabilities, but also a band. And this is not just a band. This is a band of how can I put this? Sort of multi-limbed phenomenons, truly astonishing human beings, multi-instrumentalists, capable of such music that your all the hairs on your arm will stand up the moment they begin to play, which is great. And so the way it's going to work live, and it will obviously it will evolve, but. Everyone's going to play a ton of instruments. We're going to be rotating. We're going to be doing looping as a band. We're going to be singing all together. You're going to be singing in the audience. Got all sorts of weird ideas for that. And so that is currently being birthed in this bit of my brain. And this bit is still the music, but this is the birthing of the band. And gradually it's going to take over my mind. It's going to be very exciting. But that is happening. February, March is the first leg of that tour. All the dates are now on my website. They are live for you to see. Go chase them down. It's very, very exciting. I'm going to come to Europe. I think it's Europe first of all, and then I'm going to go to the States after that. And I'll be all over the rest of the world later in the year. That is what you need to know about right now. Pre-sale goes up on Wednesday, I believe. So on Wednesday, you can go grab your tickets. And let me just check this, but I think that the code for downloading the tickets is Jesse, pronounced Jesse, all capital letters, DJESSE, which incidentally is a little bit like JC, which is my initials. But you don't really need to know about that. Okay, and so yeah, on Wednesday you can go grab those tickets for the tour, which is crazy and very, very exciting. And as part of the tour, I've got this crazy idea. Basically, I'm launching a kind of VIP experience thing, which you can do if you want to. You don't have to do this, but you can do it. And what's going to happen there is you're going to hang with me and the band as part of the sound check, and we'll kind of goof around together, which should be really fun, and we can take some photos and have some conversations. But most excitingly, there's an unfinished song on the fourth and final volume of this album, and I'm going to be recording you guys singing on it, basically. So I've written all sorts of different melodies that all join together, which is how harmony is made. And basically that's how it's going to work. It's going to be one day on tour in one part of the world. We'll record a melody and we'll film it. And then the second time we'll film that different melody and we'll record that as well. And at the end of the tour, I'll have this great big multiple part thing, which will be on the album, hopefully, which is so exciting. And you can essentially be a part of that by signing up for this crazy VIP thing. It has a title. It's called, let me see, the JC VIP Harmony Sing Along, and I will be seeing you there. And also, I'm going to be filming all of the videos that we film now are going to go on to social media, whatever that is. So that's cool because I'll be sort of parading that as an idea. But you can be there, and I'd love it if you were, because it's a jolly exciting idea. And this particular song on the fourth album sort of rivals the first single that's coming out on Friday for epicness. And I guess at the end of the whole thing, we'll see which one is indeed the most epic. Is there anything else I need to tell you? I've kind of told you all of the stuff that you need to know at this point. I'll be seeding all sorts of other details, such as who on earth the collaborators are, over the course of the next few weeks and months. Many of them you would have seen snippets of at the very beginning of this video, and also in various Instagram stories and little clips and things that I've been filming. I've been being quite diligent about taking a little snapshot of each different moment wherever I have been in the world. And so so stay tuned. There's all sorts of insane people. I mean, I can't believe it. It's like, yeah, it's kind of all my favorite musicians in the whole world, and they're like all my heroes. It's wild. Anyway, to conclude today's processes, I'm just going to hold the pumpkin up and say once again, happy Halloween. And for the end of the slideshow, I'll be taking some questions. So I'm going to now go and look at the questions list and answer some of the questions. I'll be right back. Let's have a go. Okay. What have we got? I Harm You 5. So I Harm You 5 is not a question, but next year I'm going to be launching a whole new wave of I Harm You. I Harm You is sort of alive and well. I'm going to do a lot more live streams as well as part of next year, and you can be involved. You can absolutely be involved, but you have to stay tuned for that because I'm not going to tell you anything about that just yet. So hold the phone, but be right back. Okay, other questions. Favourite chord. I mean, this is one I get a lot, favourite chord. It's not really to do with the album Jessie, but I think today my favourite chord is like F, D flat, A, B, E, G sharp, which is quite a weird chord. It's like how would I describe that? It's like F. It's like F major, basically F major. It's got a sharp 11 in it and a major 7 and a sharp 5 and a sharp 9. But basically, it's just a nice chord. Okay, next question. Where did I get my jacket? Jacket was a Christmas present from my mum, who has an excellent taste in clothing, just like yours. Okay. Will any of your musicians be playing the bassoon? Actually, I can't answer that yet. Let's see. What crazy new instruments have you found? Well, one of my collaborations for the BBC Proms and also for Jessie Volume 1 was with a musician called Hamid El Kasri, who's from Morocco, and he gifted me this instrument, which is called a gumbri, and it's a very interesting instrument because the strings are quite a high distance from the body of the instrument, so you have to use, I believe you have to use part of your knuckle and part of your nail, like that. And I'm not very good at this instrument, I can barely play it at all. It does have a fancy Fishman pickup in it though. And I was recording it, so it's on the album. So that's one answer to your question. Another really lovely instrument that I found recently is this one, which is it's a bit like a hang. It's called a tongue drum, and it was lobbed to me in Moscow, a few months ago, by an amazing fan. And yeah, essentially, it just has these lovely sounds. And I finished the show, and this guy was like, "Yo, Jacob!" And he was like, and I was like, "Oh!" And I was like, "What's that?" It's like, "It's a hang!" And then he ran away. And then it didn't fit my suitcase, so I had to bring it back as hand luggage. And you know the X-ray scan in the airports, they always show what the contents of the bag. The guy's face when he saw the hang drum pass through was crazy because it was just like this blue orb with this sort of dividing tone lines. He was just like, so anyway, that was a nice moment. Okay, let's take a couple more questions, then I'm going to get back to producing my albums. Let's see. Okay. Will we hear your mum in your album? Yes, you will. She's actually featured on a song in the first volume with the Metropole Orchestra. The first volume is with the Metropole Orchestra. You may or may not have realised that. I did a gig at the Royal Albert Hall, which is in London, on July the 19th this year, and it was with the Metropole Orchestra, and we premiered a lot of the music that's on the first volume, but there's also other music on the first volume that wasn't performed in that concert, so that is very exciting for me and for you. Okay, a couple more questions. Let's see, who are some of the musicians in the new band? I'm not going to tell you that yet because that is a secret, but stay tuned because they are a little bit rockin'. In fact, they're exceptionally rockin'. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? How many songs next album? Question mark. That is something it's also difficult to tell you because it's not finished yet, but it's about 40. It's about a 40 song album. And yeah, it's taken a lot of planning. An awful lot. So many sleepless nights. When I say sleepless nights, I mean like there's been a lot of time that I've spent in the nighttime thinking, how is this going to happen? And then it happens, and that's the joy of the thing. But I have been working exceptionally hard this year, 40 songs. But I love every single one of them, and I know you will too. Okay. Do you meditate? Is a question I just had. I guess it depends what you mean by meditation. For me, when I start making music and creating things, that is a bit of a meditation. I don't do traditional meditation techniques necessarily, but I do a lot of breathing, and I also think a lot about my feet and connecting my feet to the ground because that's how we were born. Yeah, and so for that reason, it's good to connect with the things around you. And yeah, it's also nice to realize how unbelievably small you are sometimes, and how unbelievably tiny your life is in amongst the universe, because there's so much that happens in the universe. I would imagine. I mean, I only know what I'm projecting out into the world, but there's an awful lot of stuff, and you're quite small, and sometimes it's nice, and that's a bit of a meditation, is to be like, okay, I'm just like a tiny little in the. Okay, wow, these comments are just going for it. Is this just fantasy? I can't answer that question. What do you usually eat when recording? Well, bananas are great, and pumpkins, like pumpkin soup is also good. Apples and manuka honey. Okay. Let me see. Anything else? I'm going to answer one more question. Oh man. Okay, that's now they're moving too fast. I can't see. Okay, I saw one. How do you practice? I think the best way to practice is by creating things, but and by listening very actively with a sense of conscious osmosis. So you listen on two different levels. You listen to the way something makes you feel, and you listen to the way something makes your brain turn, and then you marry those two worlds together. And the best way to marry something is by working it into your language. And the best way to work something into your language is to speak the language as well as you can, but without concentrating too much on the details and concentrating more on the gestures of the language. So for me, practice is about thinking, I want to achieve this as a device, like an emotional device. I want it to feel like, how can I achieve that? Well, there are lots of different ways of doing that. One is you just go over here and you go, but if you're on the piano, then it's like a different kind of wish. It might be like a. That's an example of it. So there are lots of different kinds of things you can do with that. Sometimes your gestures are less philosophical and more literal. Like, how do I go get it, and then you just have to do that until you have to do it. But often it's nice to give yourself a reason to do it, so that you have more forward motion than the end of the experiment. That doesn't really answer your question, but I don't know. That's fine. Okay. And let me see. I'll just do one more question before I let you go, wherever you are in the world. So, are you human? Is a question that I just saw. The answer is yes. I'm very human, and this year I've discovered how human I am, because I think in the last couple of years, especially when you go on the road and you're on tour and it's the one-man show, it's easy to feel like you can do anything in the whole wide world, and actually you can't do anything in the whole wide world. But you can do what you can do, and so that's always a good place to start. And I'm always a fan of stretching my imagination and and my ideas to the absolute limit of where they'll go, and then leaving room for all of the sort of heartwarm to happen in its wake. But I'm most definitely human, and I can qualify that at this point, and I can say yes, I'm a human being, and I'm not anything greater than that. But that's good, and that's why life is good, and it's very exciting. See, it's very exciting to be human, and it's exciting to be sharing part of my humanity with your humanity. That is a good collaboration, in amongst other good collaborations which are soon to come. I'm going to leave you to your wonderful days, but stay tuned for more. Friday is the first single, With the Love in My Heart. Don't miss that. It's going to be a bit of a crazy thing. And I just got back from Japan filming this insane music video for that song, with all these mirrors and things, and it's just bonkers. It's so weird and so crazy, and I'm so unbelievably excited for you to see it. And there'll be many other videos to follow. Obviously, there are 4 albums worth of videos to come. So stay tuned. Be good. Stay warm. Happy Halloween. Be safe. And I will see you very soon. I'll speak to you very soon. Go and get your tickets on Wednesday. Go and check out the tickets right now, and then tell all of your friends and family about those gigs, because it's always more fun at gigs if people are there. It's such a good vibe, you know. So that's very cool. I'll see you somewhere in the world. Lots and lots of love from London. Sing the Hajanga. Jesse is alive, which is very exciting. And I will catch you guys later on. Have a good day. Bye. Bye.